Hi everyone, this is Lorena Johnston and I am doing my project-based learning presentation for Education 407. So let's get started. So Chapter 3, Imagining the Possibilities. The main idea that they're talking about is project-based learning, where students are given a large project, either a couple weeks, a few months, or maybe it's a project based for the whole year. And what is a big idea is something that teachers have to ask themselves. What are you hoping to teach your students with this project? So you choose a topic that students can relate to in their everyday lives. Enthusiasm for the subject will create excitement to learn, and you want students not just to read out of a textbook and answer questions and then take a quiz, but you want to make this extremely interactive. You want to stimulate their minds and get them to be creative, get them to think in different ways, and be able to apply something, a hobby or an issue in their community, and use math ideas or English ideas or science ideas to figure out solutions to these problems and to learn something new with things that they already know. So you want to choose a topic that you can teach with several different subjects. The book that we used in the class had the example of golf. When you talk about golf, you can teach both physical education by playing golf, as well as teaching the students about physics in the way of how you swing the golf club, which will determine how far or how fast or which way the ball will go. So you're teaching just by having them play golf or watch golf, they're learning physical education and physics at the same time, but they're having fun and they're playing a sport, and it's not just sitting in the classroom. The book also stated that you want to incorporate Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives, which means remembering the context, understanding the subject matter, of being able to apply it, analyze it, evaluate it, and then create something out of it. Learning dispositions. When planning a project, you have to remember the learning goals. The book, again, said project-based learning is mostly focused on teaching students important traits, attitudes, habits, and feelings that we encourage but usually cannot teach directly, such as confidence, curiosity, resourcefulness, cooperation, motivation, persistence, and courage. So this is learned not through direct teaching, which maybe like just sitting down and teaching them in a classroom lecture, but these things are learned through experiences and encouragement and getting them to think outside the box. This will all naturally create confidence and curiosity, cooperation, and all that. And then the goal is, in a way, why should they care? You want to make sure the students care about the project and they want to do well on the project. So that's why you have to kind of bring in something that they can relate to, and then will get them excited. Passion-based learning is extremely important when you're doing a project-based learning activity. And then Chapter 4, Strategies for Discovery. When you're planning a project, you can either create it yourself from scratch, or you can research projects that other teachers have used or created in the past, and go off of theirs and maybe tweak it and make it your own, but you want to be mindful that just because a project concept is out there doesn't mean it's good. So you want to be careful. You want to be aware of window dressing, which is making the project look exciting and shiny and pretty, but when you go in depth, the kids aren't really learning anything. You want to make sure there's good content and there's a lesson in that project. You want to pay attention to quality and then avoiding potential pitfalls. Just because an activity is long or a project takes many days doesn't mean the learning outcome will be as great as the amount of time put in. There can be long activities but short learning outcomes, so you need to make sure that the learning outcome is of quality for the time that you're going to invest. And use of technology, you want to make sure that if you're incorporating technology, you're incorporating it for a reason and to teach the students how to use that technology that will better serve them in the future. Don't just make them read a chapter and create a PowerPoint presentation to say you use technology. If they already know how to make a presentation and they know how to use the computer and create a PowerPoint presentation, then there's no need to do that. You're not teaching them anything useful or new because they already know how to do it. And then be careful of overly scripted projects with too many steps. If there's too much fluff that's unnecessary, you can always change it and make it your own and make it more efficient. Or if there's not enough focus on formative assessment and an assessment that doesn't feel authentic. It's important that you go walk the students step by step and analyze whether they're doing a good job or not, or if they need a little help, so that they can have a final project that's going to be good. You don't just want to watch them do it and then not grade them or tell them how they're doing until the very end, because maybe you could have guided them along the way so that they could create an even better project and learn more. So consider remodeling a project to fit your needs, which is exactly what I was talking about. Make it your own, or just create your own also. So the best projects share important features. They're loosely designed with possibility of different learning paths. Every student is different and they're all going to make their project their own, and they're going to learn different things in different ways. So not everybody's project has to end up looking at the exact same, and they might not all come to the same conclusion. They will most likely all have different conclusions, which is great as long as they all learned. You want projects that are generative, causing students to construct meaning, and they capture student interest through complex and compelling real-life or simulated experiences. And if you want projects that have students learn by doing. Project-based learning is trying to steer away from class lectures and just textbooks, but you want to use outside resources in the world and technology and all that, and not just sitting in a classroom. Chapter 5, Making Assessments Meaningful. So, number 1, objective. What will students learn through this project? So when you're creating a project, you want to think about what the goal is in regards to what the students will learn. 2, evidence. What would they need to demonstrate to show that they learned? So you want to kind of have a plan as to what you want to see, or you want them to show you to see if they have learned it. And number 3, activities. What approaches might they take to go from not knowing to knowing? So you should know what they don't know. That way you can see throughout the project that they are learning and if it was worthwhile. And you want to set milestones, you want to plan check-ins, and you want to look for other progress markers. Checking in isn't exactly helping them out or doing the project for them. It's a good thing to check in and set mini due dates. That way you can see their work in progress and maybe give them a little advice or have them think a little more and work a little harder so that they can at the end learn a lot more. So in conclusion, remember to make a project fun, challenging, relatable, and enlightening. If there's no passion, then the student will not be willing or interested to learn or do the project or find out more about the subject. And be willing to help and be willing to accept new ideas that the students might bring. Project doesn't have to be exactly what your notes say. You should be able to tweak it in between if you need to go with the flow, and just make sure all your students have fun. So these are some of my references, and I just want to thank you for your time. Thank you. Have a good day.